So I'm going to call this meeting to order. All rise for Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has roll call been taken?
Yes.
All righty. So we have before us City Commission meeting minutes from October 28th, the Marina Advisory Committee meeting minutes, September 15th, the Marina CIP camera replacement, and Water Master Plan approval notice, which was great. And then we also have the Police Department monthly report for October 2025 with more traffic stats for Commissioner Salacio's request.
Stats.
Oh, yeah. All right. So is there any questions? Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Mitchell Poe to approve the consent calendar presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to commissioner reports. Commissioner Poe, let's start with you.
Nothing for me tonight.
Salacio?
A couple updates. So I hope everyone noticed the new lights downtown. Want to give a big thanks to Pacific Power and Young's River Tree Service for all the support that they had with getting the lights up, especially Young's River, who even refurbished one of the skylines and skyline lights in Hammond. We also had the Scouts, both the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts come out. So it was great weather, mostly. A little
Decent.
Yeah.
Could be worse.
But yeah, it's just hopefully adding on a festive cheer along with the fire station. And then this Saturday is the first annual Warrenton Winter Walk, where the downtown, the 3 blocks will be shut down so we can mingle and walk in the middle of the street, and all the businesses will be doing something. So Main Street Market will have the Fringe on site, and there'll be a photo booth, and they'll be doing s'mores in the parking lot. The library, you can write a letter to Santa and do story time with Mrs. Claus. The fire station, Santa will be there, and we'll have live reindeer, not to be confused with elk. The mayor reminded me. So that should be really fun. Everyone please come out. It's 5:30 to 8 on Saturday. And then we had Cedar today, and no major updates there besides Rogue, unfortunately closing. But I think Battery 245 was able to pick up a few of those employees, so that was fortunate for us. And then Classic Works, which is the local internship, they were talking about their programming, and Warrenton actually had quite a few businesses that are offering internships, so it was really great to see Warrenton kind of strong to support workforce development and local students.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Mohan, I don't think you have anything
Actually, yeah.
yet, but
Yeah, on Sunday afternoon, I went to the Lexington Memorial.
oh yes, thank you. Yeah.
Festivity. And that was kind of fun. Great history lesson. Didn't realize that building down there was actually the county seat in 1853, but it's at Anchor or Southeast Anchor and 13th. So go check it out. It's a nice little plaque and a nice little monument.
Thank you for going there.
Yeah.
Commissioner Mitchell. Okay. All right. The only thing I have to add is that Oregonians for Floodplain Protection continues its talks. The government shutdown really slowed a lot of stuff down. There was settlement talks that were in the works. They'll be picking up. There's been some encouraging developments related to potentially making them reconsult with no fisheries. We'll see how that goes. Keep you apprised, but I would just say that progress right now is looking. There's like a small little window of time that we're trying to strike where things are looking like they're actually kind of lining up. So we'll see how it goes. Other than that, City Manager?
I don't have anything.
City Recorder?
Yeah.
Crab Pot.
What the crab pot Christmas lighting in Hammond.
Oh, yes. That's happening 5 o'clock.
December 7th from 5 to 7 at the Hammond Marina.
Thank you. Yes. Be there, be square.
Second annual.
And then, and don't steal any of the crab pots. Or decorations.
Don't jinx us.
So, all righty. We'll move on to public comments. So we have one public comment. Mr. Folletti, I won't read the script. You know the drill.
Like two things this evening. First is I want to commend the garbage truck driver on the 6th of this month, on the day when it was really howling out there. I went home and took my garbage in after it had been picked up, but I noticed the driver on Main Street, there were a lot of cans were tipped over. Saw the driver personally get out of the truck, pick up or set the can up and then go and pick it up. So I think that's commendable service that they need to be, because I've seen other cities where they don't do that. When people are gone, they just go ahead and go past it. I want to commend the driver. The driver needs to know that. I told Public Works about that too, but I wanted to make you guys aware of it and have it on public record as well. And I'm glad to see Seafarers Park, the contract going out there. Finally, even though it's a little more than what we budgeted, but at least it's gonna get done, and hopefully it'll save it for future use, because that is our gem of our park in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on from, do we have any on Zoom? No, doesn't look like it. Okay. So we'll move on to public hearings. So at this time, I'll open the public hearing. This is the time for a public hearing in the matter of residential development rezone ordinance number 1299. We have one public comment card. This hearing is being recorded. Please speak clearly. Once recognized, please step up to the lectern, begin your comments stating your name and address for the record. We request all testimony be the point. Testimony, arguments, and evidence in this hearing must be directed toward the applicable criteria or standards. The application before the city this evening is decided based on that criteria. We will conduct this hearing as follows. Commission ethics disclosures, presentation of the staff report, commission questions of staff, presentation by the applicant, commission questions of the applicant, public testimony, testimony in support of the application and neutral testimony, testimony in opposition, rebuttal by the applicant, close of public testimony and deliberation with then a decision. So a decision may be made by the city commission at the close of the hearing, or the matter may be continued to a time and date certain in the future. If the matter is reset to a date certain in the future, this will be the only notice of that date you receive. We shall now commence. So, do any commissioners wish to disclose any ex parte bias, conflicts of interest? Anybody?
No.
Yes, I do. I am going to recuse myself from this hearing, as I was the chairman of the planning commission when we voted to bring this into consideration to the city council. So I will recuse myself from this.
Very well. And that was just for an ex parte, no conflict of interest.
No conflict, it's just ex parte. Yes, thank you.
All right, any other? Okay, hearing none. Let the record reflect one recusal over ex parte, but no conflicts of interest to report or bias. And do any members of the city commission have any prior contacts related to this rezone from the applicant? No. No. Okay. And any members visited the subject site recently after the application was filed?
No.
Let the record reflect no. So, do any member of the audience wish to challenge any commission members' impartiality for the record? Nope. Okay. Staff, please present report.
And you're going to have to put up with me because I'm currently between city planners, so bear with me as I present the report. So this was the Nearing Kalmia Drive rezone RZ 25-1. Mr. Adam Nearing has applied for a rezoning from residential growth management zone to a medium density residential RM zone to enable a future 12-lot subdivision. The subject properties are owned by Mr. Adam Nearing and are identified as tax lots 81020AA00400 and 81020AA00738. And just to note, there was a subdivision and variance, but that is under appeal at our next meeting. So that was not part of the discussion in this process tonight. These applications were submitted previously on August 18th, 2025. They were deemed complete on September 4th, 2025. The appropriate notices were sent to the property owners and also published notice in the Historian. On October 9th, 2025, the Planning Commission made an unanimous recommendation of approval of the rezone to the City Commission. There is the following applicable municipal code, which is the types of applications and review procedures, amendments to the comp plan and map rezone and development code. And then also there is the chapter regarding administration of land use and development permits. This is a type 4 legislative procedure. And of course, this is also amendment to the comp plan, text and map rezone and development, and a quasi judicial amendment. And those chapters are listed in my report. Just a little background, just to note, in this area, now these are not the same exact lots. But these are lots that are adjacent. On December 8th, 2016, the Warrenton Planning Commission approved the Gilgit Granson preliminary plat application, sub 16-1 for an 11 lot subdivision. On April 25th, 2019, the Planning Commission approved the Clear Lake subdivision. However, that decision was overturned on appeal to the City Commission. On October 9th, 2025, as mentioned before, the Planning Commission approved moving forward with the rezone. There was also the subdivision 25-1 and the variance 25-1. During the public comment period, public comments were made regarding these, and a subsequent appeal was filed regarding the same. That appeal will come before the commission regarding the subdivision and variance as a public hearing at your next meeting. And that is a change in what I've listed there. Originally, we thought it was coming to this meeting. So it is an opinion of the staff that the previous plats were properly noticed. There was sufficient public participation. And regarding the rezone, everything has been reasonably considered in a legal and lawful manner by the Planning Commission. This rezone from an RGM, which is a residential growth management, to the residential development code, is in keeping with our development code and comp plan, and it does meet the criteria for appropriate development in the zone. And you will see that there is in the noted application, it does mention that it is currently under state interest is currently to develop RGM zone areas to RM zoning, because the intent, of course, is to provide for this type of housing development. So that is within compliance with the state intended plans. And I am available for any questions you may have.
I'll reserve questions of staff until after the applicant's here. Does the applicant wish to make a presentation? No. Let the record reflect the applicant does not wish to make a presentation. All right. Well, I would have a question of staff. Actually, I'll go. So under RGM, the developer is required specifically, which is I think it's the only zone we actually require specifically. And now typically we do require any development to bring in the roads and everything to standard. Is there a particular reason why this can't be moved into why this has to be an M zone, medium density residential versus an RGM? I know you can do single families, but you should be able to do multifamily on RGM, shouldn't you?
I think this was the intent was to change it to this because of the type of subdivision that was being brought forward. The extent of my planning knowledge is simply at that level and no more. So as far as the change in that, it was in keeping with what is allowable. And so my understanding is typically you do rezone to this to meet that type of density. But I definitely can bring more information forward later if needed.
Yeah. How many acres is we talking about?
That is a good question.
I mean, Mr. Ibnir, you don't mind just coming out?
Yeah, you probably know that better than I do.
Yeah, the adjacent zoning is RM, just adjacent to his property.
Yes.
It's pretty much the whole housing area up there has been converted to RM from RGM, so it's just kind of in line with what is
around it.
happened.
And it's an 11 lot subdivision.
It's 12 lots. It's
Or 12 lot.
essentially mirroring across the city street. Obviously widening the road, providing a fire turnaround that's non-existent now. It's a narrow road currently, but the intent is to mirror what's kind of existing and to use the existing city infrastructure that's already in place. It's about 1.5 acres is the two parcels that are under that are on the subject application.
Subdivision.
Okay, so that answers my question. Yeah, because if it was RGM, you would only be able to do it R10 density. I think it's a 5 acre lot minimum on that. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, the difference is 5,000 minimum lot for RM and compared to a 7,000 square foot minimum lot.
Yeah,
size.
or 10,000 on R10. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions of the applicant or staff? All right. Thanks.
Yep.
All right. At this time, we will now open the public testimony portion of the hearing. We'll now hear from those wishing to speak in support of the application. Anybody here wishing to speak in support? Let the record reflect none. Anybody wishing to speak in opposition? Let the record reflect none. Wait, there's somebody. Are you in opposition, ma'am? Okay, please come forward. State your name and address for the record.
My name's Lisa DePiro. I live at 71 Southwest Calmia Avenue, directly across the street from, I assume, is the lot that we're talking about.
Okay.
And I'm not sure I'm completely opposed to it, but I don't know much about it. But there's a lot of rumors going around about it. And I guess that's why we came tonight, was to see if we could find out if the rumors were true. And one of those rumors is that that in order to build on this hill, they're going to have to reinforce the hill, and that the current residents are going to be charged for that. That we would have to pay for that.
This is a rezone application, so this is only about the use of the land. This has nothing to do with the actual development of the land other than what it's allowed to develop on it. So at this point, there is no information to suggest one way or the other on that. Because at this point, there's no development application for the city.
Okay, all right.
Well, before this commission right now, I should say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And regarding that, I might refer them back to the planning commission, which talks of the conditions of approval in that, that might help refer them to that, which was at their last meeting.
And you're talking about the subdivision application coming
Right.
December 9th. That would be when that packet's going to have the
Yeah.
details of the actual development, but we have not seen that yet.
Yeah.
Not allowed to see it until it comes to us. Any other opposition? All right, is there anybody neutral? I would imagine, Mr. Preston, that would be you because you didn't mark either. Do you want to come forward, or do you want to say that your remarks are the same as hers? Okay. All righty. So let the record reflect that the registered commenter Preston Everett sided with the prior speaker. Okay, so is there no other public testimony? So we've gotten support, opposition, and neutral. None. All right. And then applicant, do you have any rebuttal? Anything to state about the anything? Okay. The applicant has nothing to rebut. So we'll close the public testimony portion of the hearing. All right. Commission deliberation. This is pretty straightforward. It's just a rezone from a residential use to another residential use. Basically changing the density. So the development questions will come before us at the next December 9th.
It will be at the December 9th meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that packet will be published Wednesday before the meeting. So on the city's website. Any questions from the commission? Any? No? Is there a motion to do the first reading by title only of ordinance number 1299?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, Poe Solacio to conduct the first reading by title only of ordinance number 1299. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. Motion carries. Ordinance number 1299, an ordinance amending the City of Warrenton zoning map to reclassify the zoning of tax lots 8102-0AA-00400 and 8102-0AA-00738 from residential growth management to medium density residential. All right. And then would it be December 9th or would it be January when we do the full rezone on the second reading and adoption?
Second reading should come to the next meeting.
Okay. All right. Although that would have to be done prior to subdivision discussions because you can't really approve the subdivision without zoning changing, correct?
So it would be tied to that. So obviously if you denied the rezone, the subdivision may
It'll
not
be tabled.
necessarily move forward.
Okay. All right. And then we'll move on to our next item on the agenda. Proclamation for Jeannie Maddox. We've been asked because we're going to be delivering this December 7th to keep it kind of quiet. So everyone has everyone had a chance to review the copy?
Mhm.
Okay. Is there any objection to, is there unanimous consent to adopt the proclamation for Jeannie Maddox?
So moved.
All right. Well, we have a motion then. So motion from Mitchell,
Second.
second from Poe. to adopt the proclamation for Jeannie Maddox to be delivered December 7th. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, motion carries. Let's see here, sign the proclamation. That will be delivered and publicly read then. Okay. Next, we have on us the consideration of ordinance number 1298, providing for rules and regulations for water department. All right, our finance director.
Good evening. Okay, so we are bringing to 1298, and it is just addressing one section of our water code tonight. We are working on a whole big revamp for you guys, but that's a ways out, unfortunately. But we wanted to get this cleared up sooner than that, so we're bringing that to you tonight. It's in section 5, which is page 40 of the packet. It's the charges, payments, and penalties, and the section is surrounding the restoration of water service after water has been turned off. And it's clearing up the language around paying your account to a zero balance, which has been our policy and the ordinance, but it left a little bit of room for interpretation. So legal had advised that we just clean it up.
This is a stopgap cleanup until we get to the full
Yeah.
revision. So, and I know we've had work session on this before, so this has been a topic we've discussed ad nauseum. Is there any questions of staff? Is there a motion to conduct the first reading by title only of ordinance number 1298?
So moved. Second.
We'll go with Mitchell Poe, moved and seconded to adopt ordinance number 1298. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed. Motion carries unanimous. Ordinance number 1298, providing for rules and regulations of the City of Warrenton Water Department in all areas served by the municipal water department outside Warrenton city limits, requiring installation of water meters, repealing any other water ordinances or resolutions or parts thereof in conflict herewith, and providing a penalty for violation of any terms and conditions herein. Next, we'll move on to consideration of ordinance number 1297, renaming Northeast Iredale to Northeast Isobar, second reading and adoption. City manager, I think that's you, or is that, nope, city recorder.
Yeah, I'll take this. As you may recall, on October 28th, the city commission did conduct the first reading of this ordinance to rename Northeast Iredale Avenue to Northeast Isobar. This name change was recommended to eliminate confusion, especially to our public safety officers, fire and police, because we do have three streets with the name Iredale in them. So this is just to help eliminate that duplication.
And nobody's going to be affected by it because it's the property we own. That's the only one with the address on it. So.
Exactly.
Is there any questions of staff? Is there a motion to conduct second reading of ordinance number 1297 by title only?
So moved.
Okay. Moved and seconded. Poe Mitchell to conduct second reading of ordinance number 1297 by title only. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed. Motion carries. Ordinance number 1297, renaming Northeast Iredale Avenue in the City of Warrenton. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance number 1297?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Salacio Poe to adopt ordinance number 1297. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed. Motion carries. We'll move on to sanitation rates adjustment. Resolution number 2711. Kevin Gorman, Public Works Director.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, and nice to meet you, Commissioner Moha. Tonight, I'm bringing forward a rate adjustment to the sanitation department rates. We consulted with HDR Engineering earlier this year, and they provided a presentation to the commission previously. And so this is just bringing forward the resolution to update those rates accordingly. I'm here for any questions.
You know, my only real question, and this is where the timing, I guess you could say, is the only thing that really bothers me on this one is, you know, we usually adopt all of our rate increases at the time of budget, basically, and gone through the budget committee process. I know we were waiting for a rate study on these. And then, you know, rate study came in and we've seen this. I guess my question just becomes, why weren't we able to do the rate study prior in time for budget season on this one?
There was a timing issue. Some of it was we were between staff. And then it was a timing issue of when to bring this forward. We tried our hardest to bring this before the budget time period, and it just didn't work out.
Sure. Okay. Any questions of staff?
So actually take effect when then?
I believe it's January 1st, 2026.
Let's double check that.
Not 2025.
Yeah, resolution effective January 1st, 2026.
Yeah, okay.
And I will take responsibility for that because it was my goal to bring that before the budget committee met, and unfortunately, we did not meet that goal this last year.
And, oh, go ahead. Commissioner.
So I'm sorry. Second question is just, so the increase it for 2026, 27 budgets year, that'll happen in July. So we're raising it in January and again, right after the budget hits again.
That will be a question for the budget committee to decide that, I believe.
But what is staff going to
The
recommend?
way it's laid out today.
Yeah. The way it is laid out today, I believe that is the intent. Because unfortunately we are playing catch up. It's not like this has been a regularly brought forward. We are kind of behind the ball on this, unfortunately.
So I realized it wasn't a ton of money. I mean, percentage wise, it wasn't a lot, but to the citizens, I guess it's a bit of an impact to them as far as kind of a shock value. You know, they're going to get an increase and they're not going to understand when in July they get another one, why they just had one. So, you know, I'm just concerned about that.
Any questions of staff? Comments?
Can I ask,
Discussion?
is the majority of your pickup weekly? I'm assuming.
That's a good question. I would defer to finance if that's correct.
Mine's every other week.
Every other week, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have on-calls too that only call when they want to pick up.
Let's see here. If you look at it, so picked up weekly, the rate would go to 21.66. And if it was every other week, it'd be 15.35.
What about if it's on call?
And I'll call.
480.
They pay the minimum and then it's just when it's picked up.
So
I didn't know they had that. I need to go to that.
yeah, so on calls. Well, I think you're required if you're in a residence to be at least on every other week.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on
Because
the,
I do the minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Don't generate much.
and just I only understand that fee schedule on Exhibit A. So the on-call service minimum fee is 480, but that's just to do the on-call service. And then there's the base rate of the one can that's charged. Because I can't imagine that we're doing an on-call service for $4.80.
Oh, that is the correct $4.80
the actual-
is the actual on-call.
So if I have an extra garbage that I want to pick up, it's $4.80.
Yep.
Okay, I have a finance director that's kind of shaking her head.
she'll explain it.
Okay, so currently as it sits, on-call service is, for some reason that number's eluding me, but $3.80, or that's the monthly service for on-call. It does not include any pickups. Anyone in the city can have it. It's not a requirement to have every other week.
Oh, okay.
If you want to have your garbage picked up, it's $5.80 currently, not part of this, what we're bringing to you today. And you have to give us 1 business day's notice, though we prefer it to be on your pickup day. That's what we ask, but that's not, it doesn't cost, it's not efficient for us.
So help me understand this though, because, it looks like the service for biweekly is, $15.35. It's going to be for weekly, it's $21.66. But if I go to an on-call basis, it's significantly cheaper.
Correct, but it doesn't include any pickups.
That's just to be on the on-call service.
Yes, like to have your can.
So I have the on-call minute fee of $4.80, and then the one on-call pickup per can per occurrence is $7.33.
Correct.
Gotcha. So, but that still seems, yeah.
And that's what we want to look at when we do a big rate study with sanitation, is the actual cost of service. But we're so far behind right now, and we did not have the budget or the means to do a full big, huge rate study right now for sanitation. But we need to get some additional revenue so we can maintain trucks or buy a new truck or even afford a rate study. At this point, we're just far behind. So we needed to do something. So we started with this brief rate study.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Wait, so what additional rate study do you need to do?
The cost of service rate study.
Cost of service, yeah.
It seems like
They
to
were
me that
doing it.
we would want to encourage people to have more regular service versus to have on-call service, because that's a lot more inconvenient and logistically difficult to have on-call services everywhere than it is to have a regular route that we can just run. And I saw the rate study, what was it, last meeting or meet before, where we're still quite a bit lower than a lot of
Yes.
jurisdictions.
Yeah.
Even with the rate increase, that doesn't, I don't think that really matters to people that get hit with the increase because it's still an increase that they're seeing, but that gives at least a policy consideration. So you're saying that we're going to be doing another review before long to make sure that we align these rates to be more fair? So to speak?
Yes, and I think that was something we were hoping to be able to budget in the fiscal year 27 budget.
So next year's fiscal year.
Yes.
Yes. So the rate study would not be done until that fiscal year because we have to budget for it first. So then we'd be coming back with the full review. So this is what's considered an internal, where we did a very quick on the things we knew were the immediate crisis pinch points. But a full rate study would look at both internal and external. So comparing us with the rates with other cities, that doesn't mean you would necessarily go to that full rate, but it would compare and then would also look at every continuing increase we have. For example, tipping fees, we have no control over. They go up every year. That's one of our biggest costs. You know, the costs for our vehicles and staffing. We haven't factored in all these pieces to say what is the true cost to run this service. We're not necessarily saying the city will do that because at this point we actually subsidize the service. We don't do the true cost. You know, when we compare with somewhere like Recology, they're actually a for-profit. We're not. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a comparison, but saying, well, here's what the city should be charging. Here's what we could be charging. But what's the reality of what should be a realistic number to support these services without going under?
It seems to me that at the on-call also, like she was saying, it is if you call to have an on-call pickup during the regular route, that's not really making them go out of their way. And that should be one rate. But I think if they have to go completely out of their way to go to an on-call pickup, it should be about double rather than, because she was saying it's a lot more inconvenient if they do the on-call on the off day that's not the regular pickup day. So to me, it makes sense that if you're going to have an on-call, they should call to have it picked up during the regular day that the garbage truck comes by. Because a lot of times if you're not supposed to get picked up, you can put your can out there and they go right on by it because there's nothing in their thing saying they should.
We do the full study. Don't be surprised if we then come back
Yeah.
and say, here's the out of alignment.
I'm just saying
currently
that would be a lot more.
Because we're already noting those
Makes sense.
things, but this is our
Sure.
current policies, our
Just thought
current
I'd
rates, and
mention, I'm sure it will.
you
but
know,
hopefully.
So city manager, you mentioned this was just an internal study, but if I recall correctly, wasn't there an outside consultant that was presenting that report to us?
well, an outside consultant doing an internal study. So when I say an
Because it did
internal
compare it to
study,
other cities.
they are looking just specifically at our price points and what we need. They're not doing a full study looking at, for example, Recology and a point by point, here's what we charge, here's what they charge. A full study would look at Recology and possibly some other garbage rates across the state. We can't compare with another city because we're the only city that runs garbage in our state. But we'd be comparing with these other private entities and saying, here's what we charge, here's a comparable that they charge. And then we'd be saying from there, well, here's where we are, here's how far apart we are, but here's the true cost it takes us every time we turn on a truck, we run that route, and staff, the total cost of staff to run that route.
So when we do the study in the 2026-27 budget, will we include a look at whether or not we should still be in this business?
I think that will come up as part of that discussion of whether we should be in this business, whether that price point is so close to Recology. You think we should start a process to disentangle from this business? That will be probably part of the discussion. And if you do decide to go that way, obviously would have to go to the voters because the value is over 100,000. And then also it'd have to be probably at least a 3-year process to look into and change.
I know that sanitation has been a discussion item for some time. We just have never had a study. And because state law requires that if you're going to charge a fee for something, you have to have some sort of rationale to back it up based on your capital improvement plans and all that. So I guess my question becomes to you, our public works director, is do you find value in having control of our garbage services, or has it become a staffing nightmare? Because I know a lot of times we're having issues staffing. I mean, there's I think you ran the route one time, didn't you? I mean, it was,
No,
oh,
not
no,
me.
okay. I mean,
But yeah, it has been kind of a challenge in the past. I would say right now, we are running probably better than we have in a while. With internal staff changes and just more attention being put on it. It's something that, it's to me, it's up to the community. I think we still provide a service, and if it's still a good, better value than going to an outside for-profit entity, I think it's something that's worth doing.
I think as a consumer, there's a convenience value here too, I would think, because I mean, it's nice having 1.5 yard dumpster just sitting there for a week for, $30, $40. That's a lot easier and I think cheaper than taking a truckload to the dump.
yeah, true.
I think it's like Mr. Folletti said, like, where do you get service where someone will just drive up and pick up a can? Or it was last Christmas, I think, that they did an extra route to like make sure that everyone's trash was picked up. It's just like things like that, that it is a community and people look out for each other, and it's hard to quantify that value.
And I think the key pieces are, as long as we can provide a good service, a good customer service response, and show the value in what we do without losing ground on it, because unfortunately in the past we haven't consistently applied new rates, and then these catch-ups always kind of shock people. A more consistent approach, if we continue forward, I think would be the path that we would take.
You said that we're subsidizing it right now. Do you know how much we're subsidizing it by?
That's what we need the full rate study for.
Okay.
But when you hear like something's like $5.80, and every time we turn on the truck, the diesel alone
Sure.
is more than that. There's some gaps there in how much we're, passing on to the consumer, but at the same time, taxpayers are funding this. So there's that balance there of, what does it take to run this, and does it give more benefit back to the taxpayers that we own it?
I know when the charter amendment was passed with the property protection measure, and they included service into the definition of things that the city couldn't pass without a double majority vote, garbage service was definitely on the mind of the drafters. I don't think if it was necessarily the general constituency, but I think drafters definitely thought about that, because one of the drafters used to be on the city commission and definitely made sure that rates were being subsidized by the city, I guess you could say. So okay. I mean, I think the percentage is going to scare people more than the actual amount. Not to say that any amount's not going to hurt considering the current economic situation, but as a policy question for the commission, it becomes whether we want to have our own garbage service going forward, at least in the near-term future. Still cheaper than if we went straight up to ecology. So garbage trucks now costs what fire trucks cost 4 years ago.
Almost, yeah.
They're made by the same companies too. So
Yeah. And that's a big chunk of what we're looking at here is the true cost. We have some needs for garbage trucks, and the true cost to replace them is a lot of what's driving this right now.
Okay. All right. Well, is there any further discussion, questions, or motion? Is there a motion to conduct first reading by title of resolution number 2711?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's moved and seconded. Moha to conduct first reading by title of resolution number 2711. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. Motion carries. Adopting resolution number 2711, adopting and setting rates for sanitation service, and repealing resolutions number 2126 and 2219 and any others in conflict. And I'll just note that I'm hoping that this gives us the boost that staff needs. I would hope that we're not going to whack people with yet another rate increase come July. I think this is going to be the landing board that we're going to have until we get the right study. At least that's my hope. I don't know. I think you feel the same way too then. So, all right. Next we have the Hammond Marina Grant Award Acceptance. City Manager.
Yeah, our harbor master's, sorry she couldn't make it to the meeting tonight, and she did want to thank you for approving on the consent calendar the camera replacement. She just wanted to note the existing cameras were not compatible with Windows 11, which we all had to upgrade to as a city recently, and then the new firewall. So we replaced all of them. That was on the consent calendar. So she wanted to mention that. But the item at hand is the grant award, and she was honored to request and receive the commission's acceptance of funds from the Oregon State Marine Board in the amount of $130,000, and from the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife the amount of $390,000 for a total of $520,000, which is excellent. So those funds are for a full replacement and upgrade of the center launch lane at the Hammond Marina. And she wanted to mention, we really are incredibly grateful for the support from the community, the commission, and the Marina Advisory Board in helping to secure this funding, and planning to begin this project in early 2026 with completion plan during the 2026 in-water work window. And she's looking forward to seeing everyone on December 7th at the Hammond Crab Pot Christmas tree, but obviously hoping you will accept this grant award.
All right. Is there questions? Is there a motion to authorize acceptance of grant funds from the Oregon State Marine Board and ODFW?
So moved. Second.
Moving to seconded, Mitchell Poe to authorize acceptance of grant funds from the Oregon State Marine Board and Oregon Fish and Wildlife. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. All right, next we have advisory committee nominations. So you'll see there, we had quite a few. I am holding off on get to the, hold on, stay here. Oh, it's in your Dropbox, but it's not in the packet. It's 8F on the side. So it's in the Dropbox for the date. So before you have, there was 4 applicants for the Planning Commission. David Burkhart, Carly Gonzalez, and Brooke Cherry are being moved forward, advanced as nominees. There was an applicant that did not get nominated, Grant Lehman. However, you'll note he is being recommended and nominated for the Budget Committee. He currently serves on a Grants Committee within the Budget Committee. It's like a subcommittee of that. But we had a record number of people applying for parks. I have never seen this many applicants for parks. It's usually difficult trying to get recruitment for it. There were 6 applicants and 2 open seats. We have 2 also seats that are expiring without reapplication thus far. Because of the sheer number of new people, I was planning to have just basically a all applicant meeting instead of trying to vet each one in a separate meeting, just because of the times frames of the last year. If there's any blue slips or any issues with any of the nominees, please let me know. They're listed there. We also have going forward is Jen Fowler for Warrenton Marinas Advisory Committee. I know we have both Ms. Terry and Ms. Fowler here. If there's any questions of the applicants. Other than that, is there any questions of the applications? We'd also had 2 applications. One's a re-app and one's actually there's 3 for the library board as well. And so that one I'm going to be reviewing and forwarding for December's decision. I will note we've had sort of a mass resignation, for lack of a better term, and they're separate for separate reasons. So it's not some concerted effort, but the community center board, we are without a quorum on that board at this current moment, and nobody is applying for it. I'll be honest with you, that's probably the hardest board to get people on for, largely because it's just a fundraising board. And so at some point, this commission is going to have to decide what it wants to do with that board in terms of, does it want to have that board in general? You know, what do we want to do with the community center? The community centers boards, you know, when the community center board was formed, the ordinance creating it actually states it cannot be a burden on the taxpayer. There are certain tenants that the city still does subsidize there, predominantly Warrenton senior citizens. They have upped their contribution to part of utilities on the month, but not all. But right now, I would say that the fundraising aspect of the board is being superseded by the contract we currently have with Department of is it Human Services, Health and Human Services. And that will go till about April. If it doesn't get extended, then we'll be back to how do we shore up money. So that's, I think, a discussion that the commission should have for a work session or something to discuss the future of that, just because I think that board has just been for various reasons, it's been difficult to keep that thing going. So I bring that to your attention in terms of I don't have any nominees for that board, and we've had several resignations. Some just because they were wanting to retire. They've been on boards in the city for 20 years and they're done. Others moving on and others just don't want to do fundraising.
How many people sit on that board today?
It's
Five.
5-person board, I believe. Yeah, 5-person. So, and we've had 3 resignations. So, anyways, with that, we do have planning commission applicants. So David Burkhart for position number 3, Carla Gonzalez for position number 4, Brooke Terry for position number 6. Again, if there's any questions, we have one of the applicants here. Other than that, is there a motion to appoint David Burkhart to position number 3, Carla Gonzalez to position number 4, and Brooke Terry to position number 6 on the planning commission and setting the terms of office as provided in the letter?
So moved.
Moved and seconded post Lacio to appoint David Burkhart to position number 3, Carla Gonzalez to position number 4, and Brooke Terry to position number 6 on the Warrenton Planning Commission and setting their terms of office as provided in the nomination letter. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed. Motion carries. Welcome to the Planning Commission, Ms. Terry.
Congratulations. Who's the new chair?
That has not been decided, has it?
They will set that at the meeting.
Yeah.
So actually the secretary will open the meeting and then they will
Okay.
set a chair, I believe. So.
And then Budget Committee, is there any questions about the Budget Committee nominee? I know that's a name that everyone can recognize.
Mhm.
I applied for the City Commission, as did Ms. Terry as well. He applied for both planning and budget, but after I'd already drafted the letter for planning, his nomination came in late, so I put him on budget. Plus, that was originally what he was looking for when he first applied last year. Is there a motion to appoint Grant Lehman to position number 1 on the Warrenton Municipal Budget Committee and setting his term of office, providing the nomination letter?
So moved.
Moved and seconded, Poe Mitchell to appoint Grant Lehman to position number 1 on the Warrenton Municipal Budget Committee and setting his term of office, providing the nomination letter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. Motion carries. Next, we have the Warrenton Marinas Advisory Committee. Ms. Fowler was the only applicant. She currently chairs the board. Is there a question of the applicant or a motion to appoint Ms. Jennifer Fowler to position number 3 and setting her term of office for position number 3?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Salacio Mitchell to appoint Jennifer Fowler to position number 3 to the Warrenton Marine Advisory Committee and setting her term of office as in the letter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed. Motion carries. All right, next we have Sea Western Magna Grip Diesel Exhaust Removal System Contract. Chief Ellsbury. Back to the commission packet.
Good evening, thank you. Mayor and Commissioners, before you have a contract for the diesel exhaust removal system for the Warrenton Fire Station. Something that was in the CIP for this year, and we're just ready to move forward and finish, get that project done. Hopefully next year we'll do Hammond as well, so.
Awesome. Because Hammond doesn't even have a system, does it?
No,
Yeah.
no, and the current system that we have now has never worked really,
Yeah.
so.
All right. Is there any questions of the staff? Is there a motion to authorize the mayor's signature on the contract for Magna Grip Diesel Exhaust System by Sea Western?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, post a lawsuit to authorize the mayor's signature on the contract for Magna Grip Diesel Exhaust System by Sea Western. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Consideration of Seafarers Park Stabilization Contract.
All right. So this item before you tonight is Seafarers Park, the erosion control that's happening out there, or that would like to happen out there. We are ready to award bids, came in lower than expected. Our engineer's estimate was $380,000. The lowest bid came in from Earthworks Excavation at just over $336,000. Still a little bit over our budget, but we worked some projects internally to try to make room for this because this is a priority project. So it does have a tight turnaround on it. We have to be finished with the work by, I think it's February 15th. So
I'll say I am very pleased. I've heard of the contract. I don't think we've had work done with them before, have we?
I don't believe so, no.
Yeah. But I'm really pleased that the contract has liquidated damages in it because considering the timeframes and timeliness of this to happen has to be just right, or it's all, it doesn't work out. The contractor has to perform or pay out. I mean, that's just, we can't afford it to go until next year. And also, I appreciate you working some different projects. Can you tell me a little bit about what got delayed or, you know, what do we do what projects got moved off or internally shifted for this?
Yeah, so the project is noted in the fiscal impact. It was the Southeast Second Street improvement, which is just right over here. We were planning on designing and constructing. We had some budget for it this year. We're not really 100% certain that the budget that we had would construct it. So we're planning on moving forward with the design on it and then pushing construction to the following year.
But you said projects. Was there
Just the one, just the one.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, our funding gap was just around 130,000, I think.
Awesome. All right. All right. Well, is there any other questions? All right. Is there a motion to award Seafarers Park Bank Stabilization Project construction contract to Earthworks Excavation, the amount of $336,840, and authorize a 10% contingency for a not to exceed of $370,524?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, post a lawsuit to award the Seafarers Park Bank Stabilization Project construction contract to Earthworks Excavation in the amount of $336,840 and authorize a 10% contingency for a total not to exceed amount of $370,524. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. Motion carries. Back up at it. CIP purchase for the CCTV van.
Yeah, this is we use a CCTV van to scope our sewer and stormwater infrastructure underground. Very useful piece of equipment. Ours has been kind of operational, malfunctioning. There's some training issues on it. It was a used piece of equipment that we bought. We were going to look at buying a complete new van. We had $200,000 in the budget for that. Talking with staff and prioritizing some of the sewer lift stations that we're having issues with, we thought it would be better to just refit our equipment. And we had somebody come in and professional look at our equipment. And he said, we're in pretty good shape. If we just did a refit of it, it would be get us through for another probably 5 to 10 years. So that's what we were planning on doing. So the what we have is to basically buy a new camera, buy some new software and some new lines and everything. And then maybe one day we'll get the van.
I know that, what was it 2019, 2020? I think it was 2019 when we did the I&I study. And I'm assuming this is the thing that we use to basically tunnel through. Is this an ad hoc used piece of equipment, or do we have a program that we do where we continuously check our lines?
That is a good question. And I'd say right now it's more of a reactive tool. And the only reason I think I'm still new here and this thing's been out since I've been here.
Oh, okay.
Or semi-functional since I've been here. So we haven't been doing the programs of going out there proactively and looking at everything. But as soon as this is back online and staff are trained, we're going to reinstate that.
So have we basically been contracting out CCTVing for, if somebody wants to connect to a line and we're like, it's got bellies, that's how we know as we contract it out? Or do we make them do it? Or
we make them hire.
Okay.
So when somebody's putting in a new home, for example, and they're connecting to an existing sewer, part of that is they actually have to hire somebody to come in and TV the line. So to talk a little bit about the 2020 to 22, we did have staff for a while. We were able to go out there and do some of those I&I studies. Some of those we did internally and some we contracted out. There was a really big focus at that time to try and figure out how much I&I, and that's how we found where some of our major problems were at that time.
So I guess my question is
can we go there again?
I've seen contracts we've had where we're hiring people to camera things too.
Yes.
And so I guess my question becomes when we have this, to what point will we be either requiring those contractors to use our services as a savings on the contracts, or to what point do we offer that as a service to folks instead of having to hire out a camera if they want to use the city as call our crews to do that? I guess my question is, at what point is this a cost that we can profit, use some sort of revenue generation versus just constantly buying an extra piece of equipment?
I think the reality is, and Kevin can correct me if I'm wrong, the reality is it comes down to how much staff we have to do this. And unfortunately, usually our utility crew is so busy elsewhere, in my experience, that we haven't been able to say, we will take this on for others. I think there's still going to be a balance of contracting out, because even when we had the full equipment running and staff were doing some of those I&I projects, we were still hiring people to do that work. So I don't think this is going to shift it primarily just to staff. And that's because we don't have that many crew to run this, it's, if you're doing this 2 or 3 times a week, that's a lot of staff time where we're repairing water lines and being more reactive. So
So I guess I'll bring this back to like, okay, so we just upped sanitation rates, but every year we get, up other utility rates. Is it cheaper for the citizens to have hired out contracting if we're not using this all the time, CCTVing of our lines, or is it cheaper for us to have this internally? That's, I guess, the real question. Are we
some of
having this
it's
as a nice to have, or is this like?
so it's a 2-part question. Some of it is actually the responsive time, because we need this internally to be able to check some of these lines for ourselves for the infrastructure. So if we don't have this and we're relying on somebody else, we're at their mercy for scheduling. And I will tell you, sometimes they're like, well, we're all down right now. We've had this where they're like, we're out down for a couple of weeks. We can't get to your line right away. And we've had that when we've reached out. So some of this is the responsive time. And then some of it is, I do believe it saves us some cost. If we can get there, I just can't promise that at this time, but if we can get everything else all dialed in, I'd love to be able to offer that service more. And, if people are putting in new homes, to be able to do that ourselves and pass that on. But I just can't guarantee that at this
I
time.
mean, I would love to make sure that all the records related to our utilities, or at least our mains, are something we control, own, and have access to at a ready moments, because in general, I would prefer us to control how things get connected to, and versus just some contractor, so to speak. So.
Yeah, 'cause I think my thought process runs the same way. What's the amortization over this? What's the life of this piece of equipment as opposed to what it costs us to go out and hire someone to do this for us? So if this piece of machinery is going to cost us $69,000 or $70,000, let's say $65,000, what's the life expectancy of it? And what would we be paid if we were doing the same thing and contracting it out?
Yeah, and that's if you could find a contractor, it could be difficult as well.
And sometimes they're coming from Portland.
But I guess what is the length of time you think this will last?
I'd say with the current refit, I'd think probably, it's hard to say, 5 to 10 years, probably closer to the 10 years.
So somewhere around $6,500 a year, roughly, if it's 10 years. So
yeah, and we could.
12,000 if it's 5.
It's probably 5 trips coming out.
Yeah.
That's we will recoup that cost very quickly.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. What would it cost us if we had to take this out?
Sure, if we were running a robust program to inspect all of our own lines, manage our own assets, I'd say it wouldn't be out of the question to be spending the $65,000 just on that once every year to 2 years.
Okay. Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve the sole source purchase of a CCTV retrofit equipment from, is it QQs?
Correct.
Totaling $64,802.97.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, Mitchell Poe, to approve the sole source purchase of a CCTV retrofit equipment from QQs totaling $64,802.97. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Next, we have Consol North America Contract Amendment 2, Hammond Waterline, Transmission Waterline Project.
Yeah, we're excited to, we're wrapping up the Hammond Transmission water line right now. We should have it in service here very, very shortly. So this is kind of shoring up or settling up our contract with the design engineer who assisted us from the beginning as we designed this project all the way to construction today. So this change order or this amendment is it's paying the consultant for items that weren't included in the original scope of work, which would be archaeological. There was a lot of archaeological requirements on this because of the location. We also had a pretty major bidder protest that occurred that wasn't foreseen. And then I think the final item is the RFIs. So those are requests for information, changes in the field. We encountered a lot of underground pipes that weren't mapped. Other utilities that didn't map their things. So we ran into a lot of things. So this, we expected to have, I think it was around 10 submittals. We had closer to like 35, 40.
I'll just note that I just want to say that I know that a lot of things have gone wrong with the project in terms of, main breaks, water shutdowns, but the Public Works crew has been working their butts off and have done a phenomenal job trying to get things. It's been an all hands on deck thing. I'm sure this has been all consuming for your department, dealing with all the incidents that have popped up from just not having good records. And that's not our fault today. They just didn't map it when they threw it in there. So,
Right.
but I just want to say that you guys have been doing some hard work out there and doing a good job of it, trying to make this work. What I will note though is for the future, I hope that we can get either in utility bills or some way, if there's some sort of thing that we can do to get people to sign up for Platts alerts. And if there's a water break, or if we know we're doing a project that's going to potentially shut off water as we move more into Hammond, some way to get the word out like that, and then utilize the Clatsop alert system if that's possible. I believe we can use it for utility breaks and all that, so that we can. It's a lot to ask of people to go door to door and say, "Hey, by the way, there was an emergency break. I need to get back to fix this break." We don't know when your water is going to get back on. We're working on it, right? But to have something like that helps us just kick the word. You can kick over to this recorder or whoever submits those alerts. And get the word out quickly and to as many people as possible. And at that point, if they don't sign up for the system, then that's more or less on them than it is, that I know that that's been a concern for people, particularly in that area, about the water shutoffs is like, I don't know what's going on. And some of them don't, there's a lot of elderly folks in that area that don't have Facebook. And so they're not getting that. That's not on you. I think that's just an idea for as we move forward with the next phases of the project.
Currently, 3 staff are in training on Clatsop alerts in Everbridge, and so we hope to do that very soon. We're just not quite there yet. I'll be honest, I'm rusty. It's 4 years since I last used Everbridge and Clatsop alerts, but we are actively working on it and hoping to go there soon, and then we'll be able to push those out.
Because we don't have any other system for alerting people. And when people calling me and I'm in Victoria, BC or something like that, like, why am I water off? I don't know. But I just want to thank you guys for your hard work on that. So, is there any questions of staff related to this amendment? All right. Is there a motion to approve amendment number 2 to the professional services contract with Consort for the Hammond Transmission Waterline Project?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Moha to approve amendment number 2, the professional services contract with Consort for the Hammond Transmission Waterline Project. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. There is no discussion items. Go to the order. Start with you.
Well, first off, I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. I neglected to mention this in my comments, and thank you, Commissioner Salasia, for pointing out all the things that Spruce Up's been doing. These 3 individuals who sit on that board really have done an amazing job of keeping this going. I saw a post the other day, somebody, and the first time I ever had I don't usually post back, but they said, wow, why is the sign facing the wrong direction? I says, instead of asking why the sign's facing the wrong direction, say, who were the people that got out there and put it up and, moved forward and volunteered to do that. And I really think we need to think about this. This group, these 3 ladies are literally keeping this organization alive, waiting for others to get involved. They did a great job with getting everybody to come out to put up these lights. I live in Hammond. City manager can tell you, I don't know how many years in a row I complained about the sign.
3.
And she's only been city manager for 3 years. I drove home the other night and I saw it and I thought, this is what this is. And I just want to make sure people really realize this. What a great job these individuals are doing to keep this going and moving in the right direction. And it's not for any reason other than the fact that they care about their city and they want to see the city succeed and look the way we want our city to look.
Thank you, Commissioner Mitchell. Commissioner Moha.
We're collecting toys for the kids. Warrenton stuffed the bus at Fred Meyer December 4th. So bring a toy and throw it in the bus. And all those toys will go to a child in Warrenton.
Do you also have a collection item or location downtown that we could highlight during the winter walk, potentially?
We can probably fix something up.
Because maybe we could coordinate and make sure that people have toys to bring them Saturday.
Yeah, we can definitely fix something up.
Okay.
Thank you, and welcome to the commission.
Thank you.
Moha.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was remiss. I didn't thank Chief Workman for also coming out and hanging out with us to put the lights up. That was a lot of work, making sure that people were safe on the roads. So really appreciate on your off day coming out and spreading the cheer. Oh. We also, I forgot to mention, Spruce Up applied for the bottle drop grant for an amount of 25,000, and I believe the Parks Alliance also applied for bottle drop. So hopefully we'll have some money coming in February. So Spruce Up, the program or the initiatives that we applied for would be used to clean up the bump outs downtown. So replanting those with native plants and plants that would hopefully do better than the ones that are out there right now. And then also cleaning up a lot of the blackberry bushes that have overgrown some of the trails and like the areas downtown. A lot of the work was done in partnership with the North Coast Watershed Alliance Association. Okay. So I really appreciate Graham and Kelly and all the work that they did in giving me information about how to put this grant together and plans. And they've been really amazing partners. And part of that would also be going towards redoing the banners downtown. One of the ideas that we came up with was actually doing an art project for the local kids and community members to draw or do graphic design of the local plants and animals. And then the winner would be featured on a banner. So that would be just another great way to add to the community pride. And then I don't know if all of you had the opportunity to read the note from Jenny from Consejo about the recent ICE raids that were going on in Seaside. I know that Consejo had reached out to all the city commissioners across the cities. And speaking with some people that live locally, I know a lot of families are not going to be attending the winter walk because of fear around what's going on locally. It's really distressing to see that, especially when we have so many businesses that rely on our immigrant community. And I just wanted to make sure that the community knows that I am in support of our Hispanic population and our immigrant population. And I know that we follow the law, but it's just really hard to see when parents and children are taken. So, yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Celestia. Mr. Pope.
I just want to thank city manager for the hard work on the 245 and the opening of the 245. I've seen it very busy. I haven't had a chance to go in myself yet, but I plan on it. But I'm driving by, I see it packed some nights, and I just know she worked really hard to get that done. And it's great to see a new business in town.
I had one more thing I just forgot.
Commissioner Mitchell.
I was going through city ordinances just because the website, I got the new website. I really like the new website. Great job. But as I was going through the ordinances, every instance when they mention a person, it's a he. There is not one, and I went through every line, not one instance that ever say he or they. When they talk about, he will sit as a city manager, he will sit as the commissioner, he will this.
Oh, you're talking about the charter.
There's
Yeah.
charter though.
Everywhere, every single one. And I'd like to see us make that maybe in our mission for things we work on for 2026, 27, to sort of go through that and update it.
The charter is going to be a big overhaul. I'm going to be honest, it's going to be a lot of work. I'm not sure if we'll get it in the next fiscal year. We'll see if we can squeeze that into the budget. Otherwise, I'm planning for the following year if we can't get in this year. So yeah, but you're right. I am always referred to as a he throughout the charter.
Yes,
So,
you are.
Especially with the
It really looks great.
female mayor.
Yeah. And so I want to thank Commissioner Moha for showing to the Lexington dedication. I didn't make it till the far tail end, but everyone was leaving. So, but that's been something that I've been very excited about. And the next one they're going to do for a marker, they're thinking about Claire Cynthia Munson's house, which is the first female mayor in the state of Oregon. There was other women who were elected to mayor positions in the state, but because women were not recognized as electors in the state of Oregon, that wasn't legal for them to become mayor. So was invalidated. I think Florence was technically the first, but we were the first that was legally the mayor of a city in the state of Oregon. I want to echo Commissioner Mitchell's comments related to volunteers, and I will say that while it's easy to take pot shots online about all sorts of things, there are people who deeply care and I get one of my mentors in government service, Steve Calloway, said you can pretend to care, but you can't pretend to show up. And these people show up and do the work, and it's oftentimes sometimes thankless, you know, and people say, oh, why is it backwards, or this looks, you know, whatever, but they don't show up to do anything about it, right? And so it's definitely something that I think I thank you for recognizing them, because it has dwindled in numbers. And part of the reason why Fall Festival didn't happen was because people that were supposed to show up for Easter didn't show up, and so their roster got really small, and then there's some board reorganization. So
I've talked to a lot of people who are pretty excited about this.
Yeah.
This walker. I mean, it's a real small town, nice thing. I mean, a lot of, you know, I'm just surprised that Rudolph hasn't been told to just come in. So
well, I will also note too, it's kind of nice, although while it's a little different for our town, to put it downtown, because, well, Fall Festival was in the park, nothing brought to the downtown businesses, so to speak, because it was all just kind of isolated in there. So the intent of this was hopefully to re-engage the businesses downtown, which I think is a great thing. And then Battery 245, man, what an accomplishment. They get People's Choice Award 3 days after opening at Iron Chef Goes Coastal. And I haven't seen them not packed since they opened. So that's a great thing. Thank you to the City Recorder's Office. The new website is great. I know we've been beta testing some things, but it's a lot easier to work on my phone. The old one was very difficult. So thank you for modernizing.
And I will add, there are some links that are still broken and some content missing, but we're working really hard at it. So please be patient. And if you do see something and it's not fixed in about a week, just shoot me an email so that we're aware if it's still not working right.
And for those in the audience, you can report a pothole on the city website. Now, you could on the other one, but it's easier to find now. So, all right. Any good orders, City Manager?
I don't have.
City Recorders? No? All right. Well, we have an executive session for both urban renewal and this. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the regular City Commission executive session. So the Warrenton City Commission will now meet an executive session under authority of ORS 192-6602E to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions, represent the news media, specifically directed not to report on any of the deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session is previously announced. No decision may be made in executive session. The commission is not expected to return to regular session to take action on any item considered in the executive session. Session on a regular meeting unless there's anything else. So we were out of executive session for the City Commission, and we will adjourn the City Commission meeting, and then we will convene the Urban Renewal Agency meeting. As a roll call. All right, we'll move into executive session for Urban Renewal. So the Warrenton Urban Renewal Agency will now, we probably should open the door for the script.
This is official.
The Warrenton Urban Renewal Agency will now meet in executive session under the authority of ORS 192-6602E to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions. Represent the news media are specifically directed not to report on any deliberations during the executive session except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decision may be made in executive session, and the agency is not expected to return to regular session to take action on any item considered in the executive session. And adjourn the Warrenton Urban Renewal Agency.